just wanted to know what is the overall growth of the SME sector in India, say particularly in 2010-11.
Well, SME sector in India is a role model as the other developing economies look towards this sector. I would not only confine to 1 year's growth, but it has been a trend. SME sector, I would call it as MSME sector because this is now micro, small and medium enterprises, all three segments included, has been growing at much higher rate than the average economy of the country or the industrial sector in the country per se. While the industrial sector has been growing at almost 8 to 9% over the last 2 decades, the MSME sector has grown beyond 10%, almost touching 11 to 12% somewhere. So, and the same trend continues even now. In spite of the problems that the economies faced during the last recession, global recession, and the recent difficulties in the financial sector markets, MSMEs of India are not, very highly affected because they have a lot of resilience. They have their inner strengths. The programs and the policies which the government has implemented for them, the framework which has been laid, originally for the growth of this sector, for promotion of this sector, is really doing a great job. And that is how the MSME sectors are, what happens, around, I would not say they are not affected, but they are insulated to a greater extent from those vagaries of the international, difficulties and the turmoil. So, I am very upbeat about this sector per se, dealing with this sector for a long time now. We are, very confident that this sector is the real, problem solver for any economy, not only for India but even other economies also.
So do you have a greater target for next year?
Well,
for the growth?
For the SME sector?
Yeah.
Well, we target almost 11 to 12%. Looking at the past trend, the potential is more even. Some difficulties that the sector has been, advocating and asking for some changes. Gradually they are happening. Credit is one issue, of course, the difficulty, the marketing, the technology upgradation, the need for technology upgradation, the competitiveness that the sector has been, thrown into globally over the last 2 decades because of the China and other markets which are flooding the whole world with their products. So the potential is more, but I would say safely that 11 to 12% growth is that I see coming in the sector.
And what about the electronics MSME sector?
Well, electronics I would say is much higher. No, I can see the electronics growing at much higher pace, because in India, if you see, electronics has reached only I would say 30% of the total consumers. 60 to 70% of the consumers are still waiting to have the benefit of development in the electronics industries, particularly the consumer products. So I see the growth in the electronics sector at higher pace than the average growth in the economy as well as in the SME sector.
So when we speak to the SME companies here, I've also come across somebody saying that we do not want to grow out of the status because then we lose the benefits we get from the government. So is it a myth or is that?
I would say it's a myth, maybe because of lack of understanding. While it is a fact that the small micro enterprises, the smaller ones, get benefits from the, in terms of the tax concessions, with the excise and some some very small units getting some concessions in taxation also, income tax. But that doesn't play as a hindrance to the growth of the sector. The units which are really looking at the growth will not confine their expansion or the growth just because they have to get that small benefit of the taxation. They have to see it's a comparison. How much are you losing to gain how much? If you gain by expansion and increase in the turnover is much more, which I feel should be. The loss is by way of leaving those concessions is doesn't come into the way. You see, somebody who has reached a turnover of 60 lakhs, 60 lakhs is the limit for tax audit. He has got an order of 2 crores, say 3 crores. Do you think he will continue to work at 60 lakhs because he is not required to audit his accounts, and he will leave that order of 2 crores, 3 crores? I don't agree with that. He will certainly get the opportunity of executing that order of 2 crores, 3 crores or even more, because he can gain much more than by expanding to that level than by leaving that small concession which he is getting by remaining within that 60 lakhs. I hope you appreciate the point. Similarly, excise concessions. If somebody is working within 3 crores, he gets excise concession. And if somebody gets an order, the same company gets an order or a opportunity to expand and rise up to 10 crore, 20 crore, 30 crore, he can earn much more by expanding to that level rather than continuing to get the benefit of excise concession by limiting their operations within 3 crores. So that is not a correct assessment.
Like compared to the bigger companies, we all know that the SMEs need a little bit hand-holding from the government also. So in that status, what is NSIC doing? What role it is playing?
Well, NSIC is a part of the government effort. It's a public sector corporation. It's a larger, the larger support system is coming from the government. NSIC is sharing some of the issues, responsibilities. Now the major concessions and the major policy framework for facilitating the micro, small and medium enterprises has been in the form of priority sector lending by the government through the banks, technology upgradation programs, assistance in marketing efforts by facilitating them in getting to the government purchases and foreign exhibitions, domestic markets. So these are some of the programs which government has implemented, employment generation programs, setting up new enterprises, incubation programs. Coming to NSIC, NSIC is very focused. NSIC is working in 2 directions. One is helping in setting up of new small businesses. That is one area, the first generation entrepreneurs. So there NSIC is providing a handholding in the form of complete incubation of the entrepreneurs by training them, by helping them to choose a project, because they don't know which project they should go, where is the market, where is the technology available, where from the finance will come. Particularly the young, people who are looking at starting their self-employment opportunities. So we guide them. It's a complete hand-holding. It's right from start of the training until setting up the project, including identification of the technologies, exposure to the running projects in the simulated conditions that we have created by setting up incubation centers across the country. They can come and work there for some time. That is part of the training. Then only they realize that whether they can really do this or it is not their cup of tea. Then we help them in getting the credit from the bank if they want to, because we have agreements with the banks that any loan proposal which is recommended by NSIC would be considered by banks with lot of credit, credit being given, credit worthiness, and then technology support and marketing support. So all this comes as part of that package for the first generation entrepreneurs to start new enterprises. Now NSIC is also working towards upgrading the capacities of the existing small enterprises, micro, small and medium enterprises. When I say small, I include micro and medium also, because we are used to small scale industries. That is the old term that we always use. So we work for upgrading the capacities in a way that we provide them raw material support. It's a raw material which they would stand to benefit in terms of 10 to 15% price advantage. Although they can buy from market also. It is not that raw material is scarce or under quota or under license or under rationing or anything. It is only the advantage in terms of bulk buying by NSIC, contracting from the manufacturers directly and sending that material in smaller quantities with value added products like credit and to the small users. So provide them raw material, then help them in training of their workers and getting them orders. That is one very major activity that NSIC does. If the small industry is unable to procure big orders because of their smaller capacities, we join some of these smaller industries and form a consortium, a group of people, and aggregate their capacity and accordingly then bid for big tenders on their behalf. And once the order is received, because NSIC has advantage of being a government organization and establishing the credentials, because we certify the capacities and performance ability of those small industries before bidding. Their financial strength, their capacity to execute those orders that we assess in advance. So we help them in getting the orders. Not only government procurement orders, but even from private sector, even exposing their products in the various domestic exhibitions, foreign exhibitions, and helping them to procure orders directly. We also run a marketing intelligence cell. We set up this cell 2 years back on the recommendations of the Honorable Prime Minister's task force, because there was no intelligence network available to the micro, small and medium enterprises sector with regard to marketing. Now people don't know which countries are buying which products, at what prices, and if somebody wants to be an exporter, see, he is grappling in dark which country he should export, what product he should export, what are the prices, which countries are the existing exporters, what are the capacities that the other countries are buying. So all this information is very vital. So we have tried to collate this information, all this information, and we have set up a cell. It has a lot of information now. It's an ongoing process. It is a dynamic situation. We continue to add the information, and then anybody can log on to the network and get the information, so as to help improve the business. So that is another help in marketing that we are doing. Another important scheme that we are running is the credit facilitation. We have signed agreements with major banks in the country, nationalized banks as well as foreign banks, private sector bank as well as nationalized banks, for the purpose of helping, working as an intermediary between the banks and the industry, small industry, because directly, as you know, there has been problems by the small industry in accessing credit from the banks because of their difficulty in establishing the credit worthiness. Directly, small entities find difficulty. So we have come to play, in fact, that role on their behalf. If they come to us and we assess their requirement, we move the proposal on their behalf to the banks as per their choice, and see that the sanction of the loan or the credit facility is granted, whatever may be the credit limit as per their requirement. And they can choose the bank also out of these banks that we have.
So do you have to be the guarantor?
No. There is no need for us to guarantee. In fact, we are the, we are the facilitator between the bank and the borrower, intending borrower, and we look at the credit worthiness and the credentials of the borrower, and the bank knows us. So we work between two of them, try to resolve these difficulties and the trust deficit.
So you have to do a study of their credential status.
We do that. We
And
do
then
some
you
part of that
Okay.
on behalf of the bank initially, and that is why we levy a service fee from the bank, not the borrower. The bank pays us for doing this.
So, there's quite a lot of schemes that you people are handling. So that means, and you are catering to a lot many sectors, not just one or two sectors. So that means, do you have, like you're saying that you also provide technological support. Do you have technical people also on your place there, or you take support from public sectors also to give, like you're giving training to the people who will start up a venture? So do you have on your staff all the technical people, or do you have to get it from outside also?
No,
Outsource
we have technical centers within our company, but they are not as many as we would like them to be. We have 8 technical centers, big technical centers of our own, in Delhi, Kolkata, and Chennai, Hyderabad, Aligarh, Rajkot, and Rajpura in Punjab. So these are the technical centers, but we have contracted private sector also under the public-private partnership mode to set up more incubation centers. We have set up 40 incubation centers with the help of the private sector, and they are doing well.
So how do a person or individual or an organization come to know about these information centers?
Well, we advertise. These are advertised.
Okay. So whenever
Every
a
center has
training
to
will
advertise.
take place, you advertise.
These are advertised and people have to apply. Then there is a initial scrutiny of the applicants. Those who are serious, they are selected. But normally, by and large, they are selected. Not the purpose is not to reject anybody. And,
so are these paid trainings, or they are given free of cost?
well, some of the trainees, wherever they can afford, they are paid. But we try to help the people, those trainees which are not able to pay, below poverty line people, and some people belonging to SCs and STs and women, those we help them without charging, and government pays for them. They are sponsored programs.
And how usually government rules and regulations are quite strict. So how do are these the procedures are also very cumbersome, or they're easy to get through?
No, we have simplified the procedures, because otherwise people don't come these days. People are not happy with the procedural difficulties. So we have simplified the procedures. Procedures are very simple. And our corporation is basically a public sector corporation. We levy service fee for the services that we offer. Why will people come to us and pay service fee if our procedures are distracting them? It doesn't benefit any of the two, neither corporation nor the service seeker. So we have to maintain our services in a way that they are so easy and user friendly that people come, avail the services. In turn, they are ready to pay for the services, because nothing is free. The services are being priced, of course, very reasonably. Purpose is not to maximize the profit, but provide service with a cost recovery.
Is NSIC a profit-making company?
Yeah, we are a profit-making corporation for the last many years. We are a profit-making, dividend-paying corporation. Government has told us to work on commercial lines. So we have to price our services. For every service there is a pricing. And the user, these days there is nothing like monopoly. If the user is not happy with the service, they will not come to us and forget about making any payment. So the fact is that we are a profit-making, dividend-paying company, means that our services are in demand. People are ready to pay for those services. They find value for those services. That is how they pay. And there is an expansion taking place continuously in the company. And the services have value attached to those.
So, what was your revenue in the last financial year, 2010?
We had a turnover of 7,900 crore last financial year and a profit of 35 crores.
So it is only through these schemes and training programs?
All the schemes put together.
We also see that a lot many SMEs, the main hindrance in competing with the bigger ones is technology. And when you export also, you have to compete with the technology of many other countries. So how do you help them to upgrade in technology?
We have to take them to, first of all, expose them to the advanced technologies to various countries and within the country also. And tell them that this is what is the need of the industry or the consumers. Because the issue is related to, facing competition. When you say technology, technology helps you in two ways. One is scaling up, increasing the productivity. Second thing is quality improvement. So looking at these two factors, quality, scalability. So the appropriate technology has to be, first of all, chosen or exposed. People don't know what is the technology available. What are the China's industries using, in fact, which technology they are using, because they are able to price their products so low. So they have to be first, exposed and informed. So we take them, and once they have selected, identified the technology, appropriate technology, then we help them in sourcing that technology or procuring that technology. Now, procurement process is a normal process. Anybody can procure that. If they want bank loan, we help them in bank loan. If they can, finance from their own sources, the technology acquisition, we help them in getting that technology.
So, do you also hold sector-specific trainings or technology-specific training programs?
We have some sectors. We have started sector-wise, interventions, but we are working across the board throughout the country, through our all 140 offices. But we prefer sector-wise because it is easy to address the issues of a particular sector in a combined way, than addressing the issues individually of movements. But the whole country is our clientele.
The information about these schemes and programs are available on your website?
Yes, sure.
Okay. And how's the awareness level of the SMEs? Are they
about NSIC schemes?
NSIC
very much. Because it's an old corporation, almost now 56 years old. We have re-established the credentials of the corporation over the last 5-6 years. Because earlier the schemes were different, which were not doing good to the industry nor to the corporation. So we have to remodel the schemes, repackage the schemes and change the contours of the schemes. Rather, some of the schemes had to be dropped and new schemes had to be introduced. So we did that because it's a dynamic situation, as you know. The industry needs also keeps changing. So now the schemes are very much acceptable and people know the schemes very well. We do a lot of campaigns in the country. Last year we did almost 700 plus campaigns in the country. Our all branches are doing campaigns, meet the industry. We have agreements of mutual cooperation with 56 industry associations in the country. Almost all industry associations which represent the small industries in the country. So we are very much into, the roots of the industry, small industries, clusters.
So, I mean, besides your website, you are also promoting your schemes and programs through these different campaigns, etc.
Yes.
So, what are these tools, the campaign tools?
Campaign tools is basically, holding a workshop
Okay.
with the industry clusters
Okay.
on different products, like on credit.
Okay.
We invite banks,
Mhm.
we invite our partner banks, we invite our partner credit rating agencies, and we invite the industry.
Mhm.
So all three, and NSIC, all four sit together, discuss what are the schemes, what are the possibilities,
Mhm.
how it can be availed by the industry, how it benefits both. These are basically in the form of workshops.
So, any one or two schemes which is much in demand?
Well, our marketing, raw material distribution and marketing, particularly the government procurement scheme, are in great demand, where we help the private industries to supply to the government departments and public sector enterprises. Raw material distribution. Our performance and credit rating scheme is another scheme which is in great demand, because it empowers the small industry to establish their credit worthiness so that they can get credit from the banks.
Okay.
These are the schemes.
So there in the private sector also there must be a lot many agencies who's doing similar work like NSIC. So is there a competition there also for NSIC?
Well, some of the programs that we are running have no private sector participation. But some, like raw material distribution, anybody is free to get raw material from the market. There are companies, distributors, retailers selling the same raw material like steel. Now steel you can get from the market also, available, from the steel producers also, and from NSIC also. Now you will go to only those one of the source where you get the cheaper price and better terms. So there is competition in those areas, but that is why I say that it's a challenge to keep the quality of service. So we have to maintain our quality of service and the value in that service, so that the customer or the small industry comes to us, avail the service, pays for it.
Do you fund or invest research-based programs?
But we have not focused on that particular activity as yet, but we are open to that, because anything which benefits the small industry, we would be surely helping.